Doom 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 down 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 na 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 na. Dun 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 dun. I shake my good self for you. The strangers in the night. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 for you. Dun 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 dun. Now you got us harpies in the night. It's not harpies in the night. It's some whatever. Now you got us harpies in the night. Down, 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 down. Oh, you. Good evening and welcome to tonight's broadcast. Let's start it off the right way. The only way, the way that we really need to do it. This one's for Rue Morgue.
Jeff is gonna talk about the Misfits right now. He's a nerd about this stuff, obsessed anyhow. Jeff never shuts his face, always needs to talk. Might miss him somewhere if he went out for a walk. Do you think Danzig cares? He doesn't care. He's out in Ranch.
Hey, okay, we're here. We're here. All right. All right. I want you to hear me out now. I want you to hear me out. I think this is a great idea. This is a really great idea. It's not an original idea, but it's an idea nonetheless. Okay. They recently have finally opened the doors to the punk rock museum out in Las Vegas. That was something that was put together by Fat Mike from NoFX and a couple other Two Tree people. And there's this Instagram account, something artifacts. It's really cool and like covers all sorts of punk rock lore and whatnot. And every once in a while they share some, rare Misfits stuff too. And, whatever, yakety schmackety, XYZ 1, 2, 3. I just realized, oh my God, I'm about to do something really risky right now. Ready? Hopefully this doesn't mess up the broadcast. We're going to find out. Are we still here? Are we still there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Just tell me, can you hear me? Did I mess up the broadcast? I don't think I did. I think we're still here. This artifact YouTube channel, I'm going to check right now. We'll find out in 1 second if we're still here. I think we're still here. I think we're still live and in the hey, quiet now. Quiet. We don't want none of that business. We just want to make sure we're still live. Still here. Okay, I got a confirmation. I don't need to check anymore. This artifacts page, they were like collecting memorabilia. Fat Mike, he's brokering deals. I don't know who else is involved with the punk rock museum, but they have like tours. They're doing tours, right? It'd be pretty cool. You go there and there's Mike Roach from TSOL. I think Fat Mike is giving tours. Chick from L7. It's pretty neat. And it had me thinking in my head, why on earth isn't there a Fiend museum in Lodi, New Jersey? Here is why. This is such a good idea. Why it would work. Hear me out. hear me out. We already talked about a while back, right on the show. I mean, this was years back. We were riffing, and it was like one thing led to another, and it was like I suddenly realized, like, why isn't there a statue of the Misfits in Lodi, right? It would be so perfect. And, of course, I guess you couldn't have a statue of Glenn, Jerry, and Doyle because there's so many members. So you just have to have like a statue of the Crimson Ghost. And it would just, a bronze statue would work so well. And eventually, on a recent trip to Lodi, uh, I sort of erected a statue, a symbolic statue, a miniature statue using the House of Wolfman themed figures. And it was a lot of fun. It was just like, a fun, it was a fun goof. But then, thinking about the Punk Rock Museum and thinking about that Lodi statue takes it one step further. And it's like, wait a minute. You have things like Graceland. You have Paisley Park as Prince. Graceland is obviously Elvis the King. You have these spots. You had Neverland before it was a disgrace, Michael Jackson. You have these homes. You have Dollywood, right, for Dolly Parton. You have these very famous homes and towns that belong to musicians that are these incredible tourist attractions that bring in such, they boost the economy, man. And, you also have museums. You have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum. You have the Punk Rock Museum now. And you even have like landmarks, like the way people go to like visit John Varvatos' store, which used to be CBGB's. And you can go in there and you could still see the walls. He's kept them intact. Probably the only cool thing about that store is that he left the history intact so that people could come and visit it because it has historical significance. And the thing about the Misfits is there's so much like imagery and mythology, and people are such big collectors. Fiends are such big collectors of all things Misfits, Samhain, and Danzig, that you absolutely could have a niche market museum for all things Misfits, Samhain, and Danzig. It wouldn't just be the Misfits, but it would probably be called the Misfit Museum. They even have if you're a fan of George Romero, there's the Living Dead Museum out in, I don't know if it's in Pittsburgh or it's right outside of Pittsburgh. It used to be over by Willard, which is where they actually shot Night of the Living Dead, which is outside of Pittsburgh. No, it's not Willard. What is it? Is it Willard? I'm trying to remember the name of the town, the tiny little dot outside of Pittsburgh, where that's where the cemetery is. And we visited that cemetery. I visited that cemetery, but I live streamed from it. In any case, I'm picturing in my head a museum that is just like completely devoted to all of this stuff. And like, I'm thinking, I'm already designing like the different sections in my head, and it just would totally friggin' work, man. It would totally work. And you could have like people like coming in and doing like guest spots and whatnot. You could have, I don't know, you could have, I'm sure like you could have like Steve Zing drop in for like a Q&A, or Franche Coma, you know what I mean? I like this idea, a museum creepy funhouse. It would be something like that. But here's the thing, you would have one area that is totally devoted to all the records, right? You'd have a media room where you could actually listen and watch the old bootleg shows. They'd properly license them or whatnot. You'd have all the different costumes from all the different periods. And like, there's Jerry. You see the evolution of Jerry's basses. You have the timeline. You have a timeline with all the different lineups. And, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, how would that work out? Like between a guy like Glenn and a guy like Jerry, who would probably argue over the history of who belongs where. It would be there'd probably be a lot of politics that would get involved. But like, again, and then here's the other thing too. It's like, you have pizza from Lodi Pizza. It's just, Lodi, the reason why this would work, the reason why you could totally have a themed museum in Lodi, New Jersey is because Lodi, New Jersey itself is a character in the story of the Misfits. I can't explain why, but people, without there being a museum, people make pilgrimages to Lodi all the time. People want to go to the town. People want to go to that place to feel. And when I say people, I mean the fans, the fiends, the fans, the people that love this band and its history. People will travel from all over, or if they're on tour, they will route through that area. I mean, I've seen it time and again, man. In the same way that people like to take pictures with in front of Glenn Danzig's iron gates at his old house where he used to live. You know what I mean? Like there's some, it's got some kind of underground cult landmark status. And I could totally see it being so beneficial to Lodi in a way where, you just have people coming from, New York. If you're into punk rock, you're of course going to, stop off in Lodi, you know what I mean? And you could sell, I mean, you could have a gift shop. Jerry could have his gift shop. He could sell everything that he could ever want to sell. You could sell all the records. That's when you start repressing vinyl, right? You just repress all the records. And if anybody wants to go and get some like Misfit vinyl or whatever, some vinyl in Lodi, you can go there in Lodi, in-store signings. It would be really, really cool, man. This guy, S-Box Diary says, I make a point to stop by Cardi's when I visit New York from South Texas. Exactly. People literally come to Cardi's just to look at the posters that are taped to the wall, man, to the ceiling. It's like, it totally works. And it's like, all it would be is just an extension of all of this stuff, of all the stuff that we talk about in these videos of Misfit Central, all that stuff, but you put it into a really unique sort of space where people can and make it into a destination, because if people are visiting it already, why not like do something like landmark? And the thing is, there's so many like independent sort of places that operate like that. It could totally work, man. It's like you go there, get your autograph from Franche Coma, I'm trying to think what else that you would do there. You would have like, you'd have all the lineups on the wall. Like you'd see every lineup. It would be cool, man. It would be cool. You bring up Beatles Fest, Floodland. You're bringing up Beatles Fest. I mean, think about Liverpool, man. Think about, and I'll tell you, they don't really. It's not like that in Forest Hill, Queens, for the Ramones per se, but for some reason, again, because the town is so synonymous with the Misfits. It has its own character. It's its own thing, and it would totally work as a museum, I personally think. And I don't know what the space, like the size of the space would be. I mean, think about all of Jerry's smashed up guitars and instruments. You'd have all like the paper flyers. You have a whole room devoted to just the Fiend Club. You would have displays with like the t-shirts. And here's the other thing: people could actually lend their collections, man. Where Dagger asks, where would it be? I don't know. Dagger, you tell me. You're local there. So what do you think? I want to hear what you think. Where, help me, I'm just imagining this off the top of my head. Where would you put that? Would you put it in the VFW? I don't know. Like, where would it go? Yeah, there'd have to be a London dungeon, of course. Of course. I didn't know there was a Liberace museum. How about that? And of course, there'd be like, you'd have like you'd have mannequins wearing like the costumes, right? And then, like I said, you have Jerry's smashed up basses. Like this is going to get really nerdy for a second, but if anybody watches Lord of the Rings or watch Lord of the Rings, Jerry's basses are like the shards of Narsil. That's so fucking nerdy. What the old sword that gets smashed into a billion pieces, they got to make a new one. The Misfits. Yeah, what would we call? I think it would just be called the Feed Museum, because here's the thing: it wouldn't just be Misfits. It would have to be Sam Hain. There'd have to be a Sam Hain section. There would have to be a Danzig section as well. Dagger says on Main Street, maybe on Main Street. Erie, I mean, like, and that's the cool thing. You could have, what would be really rad? It's like every once in a while somebody flies in, like Erie flies in from wherever he lives, and he does like a guest tour. He does a Danzigology lecture. No, he just like flies in and like, gives like a guided tour or something. Oh my God, would there be a grave section? I mean, you can't, like, here's the thing. Okay, that's the big question that I actually have too when thinking about this whole ridiculous thing. And I put it to you guys, all of you. How do you incorporate the Misfits after 1983, right? Because on one hand, you would want to just keep it to 77 to 83, but there's so many members. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like you can't. I feel like you have to include everything, warts and all. You have to have it all. There has to be a little thing about Christ the Conqueror there too. It would be rad. It would be really, really rad. And I don't know how it would work. I guess, you'd go, you'd pay your ticket, and you would, I feel like you just would have, our King, I feel like you would have to, of course. Oh my God. So I was thinking about that. The comic book section, you'd have like a big wall, and on it would be every reference to everything on every album cover would be somehow referenced on the thing. This is where this came from. This is where this came from. You'd have, and here's the other thing too. There'd be like an archive, you'd talk to Glenn and Jerry, and Glenn would never give it up. And you talk to Glenn and Jerry, and they would give items to be a part of this archive so that the history is properly protected. And then going back to the collection thing, like, again, I'm just calling out names here, not suggesting that anybody would do this, but maybe like a guy like Umberto. Umberto has an insane collection that's in Scream With Me. You get a guy like Umberto, and you get some of the other really big collectors that have really, really choice rare pieces. Maybe Devilman. Devilman's got really great stuff. You get all these guys together, and have them donate not donate, but like lend, the way that they're doing at the Punk Rock Museum right now. You put your collection, you lend your collection for curation in the museum, right? So, it's like, oh, come see it this weekend when this is here. And then, of course, like, you could have even like more, you could get more auxiliary with it. And yeah, man, it would just be a really, really cool, touristy, kitschy, sort of destination. And I don't know. I think it would be a hoot and a riot, hootenanny. But there's lots of, I mean, for something like that to happen, there's so much red tape to make something like that happen. I mean, look at everything that went into the Punk Rock Museum, and then think about how you'd have multiple personalities like butting heads over stuff. It would be tough. Before we continue on, let's quickly go to our sponsor, riotstickers.com, the stickiest of the sticky. These stickers are printed on vinyl, sprayed with the UV coating. Stickers will last for 5 years, man. Minimum 5 years outside. They weather the elements really well. We love Riot stickers here, man. And guess what? We're doing a special deal with them. You can get 3-inch by 3-inch Riot stickers from the link down in the description below. It's the only place that you're going to get this deal. You are not going to find this deal anywhere else. Okay. You click the link. It's riotstickers.com/Frumess. You're going to get 1,000 stickers for $79. That's 7 cents per sticker. That's an insane deal. You're not going to find that deal anywhere else. And you're not going to find a better deal anywhere else. Okay. So let's do the quick Less Than Jake theme song that's so infectious that it stays in our head forever. And we will continue on with some of the comments.
We make stickers, banners, and buttons too. Posters and promo cards. There's nothing we can't print for you. From stage backdrops to bass drum heads. We can print on shirts. We can print on hats. We can print on pants. Cheap prices and high quality. Quick turnaround times and free shipping. We also offer free artwork support. Great customer service and so much more. RiotStickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RiotStickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RiotStickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RiotStickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb.
All right, we are back. S-Box Diary says, I also visited several speed shops where famous cars were built, like the first Shelby Cobra. One idea would be a museum punk store, buy stuff and look at cool artifacts. I mean, you know, Jerry would merchandise the hell out of it. There would be a gift shop, and you could get all sorts of, you know, little trinkets to add to your collections, and that's what you would do. There would be merch that could only be purchased at the Fiend Museum, meaning you have to make a pilgrimage just to get special limited edition enamel buttons, you know, just like all sorts of jazz like that. It would totally work. So who would R King asks, who would the city of Lodi fund the museum, perhaps use it to attract tourists? I would imagine that they would subsidize either the space or maybe like contribute a little bit. Maybe you would do some private fundraising to make it happen. Maybe like some combination of that. Floodland says museums seem to usually happen after key people pass away. That's not always the case, man. I mean, you had like Graceland was around when the king was around, and I feel like Neverland and Paisley Park. I don't know. Paisley Park isn't really like a touristy sort of place. Yeah, that would be in the cafeteria would be candy apples and razor blades. Honestly, when I like think about like what the size and scope of like a museum like this, when I'm saying a museum, I'm thinking of like a small storefront. It wouldn't be super elaborate. Maybe the size of like a comic book store. That's what I'm thinking in my head. You know, Mom Longoria says should be like the Van Gogh exhibit, the immersive experience. Oh my goodness. You know, you can just like you can get the guitar smashing over your head simulator where you step into a booth and you see what it feels like to get a plush guitar going right over your head. So I used to live right next to the alley in Chicago. Actually, I lived there for a year, and actually that's where my leather jacket comes from. One of my second leather comes from. I don't fit in it anymore. Back when I had a hummingbird metabolism and smoke chain smoke cigarettes. But not anymore. In any case, yeah, the alley would be like the perfect size. The alley is a kind of a big retail store, actually. It's a little big. For the town of Lodi, it might be a little too big. I don't know. I imagine a storefront. I imagine some sort of storefront that maybe it used to be like a deli, like an Italian deli, or just some place with big bay windows. I don't know. Dagger wants to add bus rides, and of course that they would stop by Danzig and Jerry and Dole's house, and that's what people do when people come to Lodi. They pull up. I've done it myself. In fact, you can find it on this YouTube channel. People go to Danzig's old house and Jerry and Doyle's old house because that's where the Misfits was born. I mean, that's where the Misfits took place. It's like, it's just it's such a intrinsic part of being the fan of something and like wanting to see where it all happened, because it helps you to paint a picture of it in your head. Would Danzig's bricks have a section? Danzig's bricks would be a brick building, of course. It would have to be a brick building, or there would be bricks in the gift shop. Could you imagine if Glenn like had enough sort of like humor about the situation to actually auction off the bricks on eBay? He would make thousands of dollars on those bricks. I really think anybody would want to augment their collection with a Danzig brick. It just, I know for me, I would want a Danzig brick. It would be absolutely amazing. Remove bricks and replace them with Glenn's. Yeah, I mean, you know what it would be? One cornerstone. You'd have one cornerstone that is Danzig bricks. That's what it is, you know. That's how it would work. You'd have an oversized Sam Hain scarecrow hanging out. You could take pictures with it. And of course, you would have a whole display for the Crimson Ghost. You know, you'd have the full Crimson Ghost like costume and suit, you know. BJ Savage says, I'd be in for a brick or two. That's hilarious. That's really funny. That is really funny. Ron is in the house. Hey, Ron, you know who I bumped into? James S. and Jimmy D at a you know what, and it was so funny because it was just I randomly went in and I saw both of them in there, and I was just like, wow, what a small world. So good evening tonight to you, Ron. People would be trying to steal the damn corner. I mean, what you would do is you'd really just have them in the gift shop. That's what you would do. Powerade and Wishbone ranch dressing, of course, yes. As you can see, that's the type of collector I am. Like having the Wishbone dressing. And for anybody who doesn't know why I'm referencing Wishbone dressing, I'm not going to sit here and explain it. Just watch the video. There's a clip of what I am talking about. That's right, Ron. We are not a glum lot. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Definitely need a Danzig brick for my for my bathroom. I'm sorry. Like right on the toilet tank behind you. That's my lucky Danzig brick. You rub it for good luck. Everybody needs a lucky Danzig brick in their house. It'd be perfect. It would be perfect. CBGB's new store still has a Danzig promo poster framed in it. You're talking about the John Barbados store? Really? Huh. Danzig brick for my bathroom. Hey, what's up with these bricks? Oh, is this a Danzig brick? Yeah. Danzig bricks will become they're the punk rock Fabergé eggs. Like, why doesn't the punk rock museum? Okay, here's a great idea for a short film. Punk rockers on a quest. Ready? Punk rockers on a quest to steal one of Danzig's bricks from his yard to bring to the punk rock museum. It's like Indiana Jones. This belongs in a museum. Danzig's like, what? Why did they care about my goddamn bricks so much? I don't get it. They're just fucking bricks. You know what I mean? EV says, of course, Lodi needs a Misfits monument. Who would argue with that? I had a petition. I started a petition just for fun, and we got like 300 something signatures. You know, now combine it. Let's have the museum. We'll have the statue in the museum right outside of the museum. Brick inside the tank to save on water. Exactly. That's how you do it. That's what you do. So you could have that. And of course there would, you know what there is? There's like, it's like Vampira, Glenn, Jerry, and Doyle as like a cutout. It's like one of those photorealistic cutouts, like a stand, you know what I mean? Like you see them in museums, those sort of things, and then you can pose with it, so you can actually take pictures with it. And of course, now we're gonna get really silly, but there has to be a black cotton candy maker, so you can get like black candy, but it's cotton candy, but it's just like black. It'd be perfect. It'd be actually. Yes. Okay. No, I do not want black licorice though. Let's make it blackberry black cotton candy. That's what I want. That would be perfect. That's what we would have. The next time, let me know the next time you have a position going. I'm a New Jersey born and bred resident. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Fabergé egg with mini skull stamped brick. Sure, sure. It would just be this really would be so much fun. Of course, you'd have brains for dinner chili. You'd have like chili in a brain bowl. You'd have chili in a skull bowl instead of chili in a bread bowl in the cafeteria. No, in all reality, like I think that like Lodi Pizza would like either be a sponsor or you like do deliveries or something. I don't know. If there ever was, Dagger says, if there ever was a monument of the band, it would have to be the Walk Among Us lineup based on that picture. I think like that would be great. I personally think that those guys would fight so much. I think that the only thing they'd ever be able to agree on in a way that makes sense would be like the Crimson Ghost in bronze, you know? That is true. Rocky does have a statue in Philadelphia up the steps. Up the steps. Yeah. Lodi is a fun place to visit. And of course, oh my God, could you imagine all like like around Halloween time? Like it's just like there's like an influx of visitors. People are like coming around. You know, it could be good, man. It could be good. You've like right with the bald googie head. Exactly. It would be fun, man. Your Rocky versus Xenomorph concept was based, by the way. Yeah, you know, that's the best. So the best thing about podcasting, and it actually relates to the topic, even though I'm about to go slightly off topic. My favorite thing about doing this, like this podcasting, it's like it's stream of consciousness imagination. Like I'm never going to make a Rocky movie. I'm never going to make a Misfit museum, but I can talk about it and like it gets recorded and it's like this imaginatory thing, this imaginary Jeff. It's this imaginary concept that like comes to life. And it just, I don't know, man. I really like that stuff. So, you know, you can think of like the most ridiculous things ever, like Rocky going to space. And of course he's going to fight a xenomorph that looks like, you know, friggin' Ivan Drago. Yeah, it's documented. And it's like, and you know, a great example of this is I've written a brand new screenplay called My Shadow, which I plan to make into a feature-length film in the future, my next narrative feature, apart from other feature projects that some of you know about. And, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually shoot the script as is intended. And so what I've decided to do, what's currently been in the works is I'm doing it as a narrative play, an audio play online. So we're going to actually perform it for you live. And I've enlisted some people to, you know, act out the characters and kind of like, again, like an old timey radio play right here on YouTube where you're going to live stream the performance. And then no matter what changes I have to make to the script in order to make it practical to shoot it, I will at least know that like the original vision, the original concept exists. It's like it's this weird sort of thing that's on YouTube. I don't know if it'll stay on YouTube. We might do the performance, then I might privatize it. I don't know. We'll see. Lots of exciting things. John Christ is coming up. I need to record the intro and then we'll get that out there for the YouTube Patreons, for the Patreons and the YouTube members. We also have what else is coming? Well, a couple things I can't really talk about right now, but let's just say that the spoons are stirring, the pots are stirring, fingers are in pies as they should be. One thing that I can talk about is I have designed t-shirts, a t-shirt design. It's a Frumess t-shirt. It's limited edition, and of course it's Misfits themed, duh. And basically what I'm going to be doing is it's a giveaway. And the way it works is if you live within the continental United States, and I'm thinking maybe if you're outside of the continental United States, you'll cover the shipping and handling, because I cannot cover the shipping and handling outside the continental United States. I'm going to ask a trivia question, and then you have to send an email to FrumessMAIL@gmail.com down in the description. And the first person to answer it correctly will get a free shirt, and I will send it to you. You just give me your t-shirt size, and then I'm going to put the order in with riotstickers.com. And we'll get everybody's precise order. Again, I don't know how many shirts it's going to be yet. And then we'll ship them out. I'll ship them out. But so the plan is that I will ask, like typically right now, I would ask a question. I'm still formulating the questions that I want to ask, and then we will begin. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep talking about it. And I promise it's not going to be like the Fiend Pageant 2 that we never completed. I was asking, we actually had a I can't believe we did a Fiend. It was a Fiend Devilock Pagentafuge is what it was. We were rating Devilocks. We had a panel of judges, and there was no prize. It was kind of stupid. And I wanted to do a sequel, and it just didn't pan out, man. It just didn't friggin' pan out. Nobody followed directions, and I don't know. But this is something that I'm really stoked on doing, and it's a way of, sort of giving out a freebie that I've been wanting to do that for a while, especially to all the people who've supported on this channel. I figure this would be a great way to sort of, give back in that kind of way. There should be a no phones allowed room when you pay to watch and listen to all the rare unreleased Misfits video and audio. I mean, you would have to, okay, so in my Fiend Museum, you absolutely would have access to all the recordings that's how they would split the proceeds. They would just have them available to listen in the museum. You could go and listen and watch and whatever. And yeah, you'd have to put your phone in a box or something where you couldn't access it. Ema D says, that would be perfect. I'm so over phones ruining experiences. Well, if you go, I assure you, if you go to if you went to one of the previous Misfit shows, I think they stopped doing it. They made you put your cell phone in this like weird little sock thing. And of course, I was like, I just paid so much for this ticket. They were like, give the sock thing back at the end. I was like, I'm not giving you this sock thing. This is like part of my experience going to see the Misfits. And I ripped that motherfucker open. As soon as they made me put my phone in the thing, I ripped it open. I still had my phone and I kept that sock. I did not give it back. I think they probably lost money on renting those or something. So it probably wasn't very financially worth it. Who knows? Who friggin' knows? But that's really it, man. That's really it. I don't know what else to say. We kind of riffed on the idea. I just wanted to share that, put that out into the ether. Maybe someday it'll become a reality, man. Maybe there really is a space. You know what you would need though? You'd have a board of directors. You'd have to have it. You'd have to have like a local board of directors. You'd like Franche Coma. He'd probably be one of the board of directors. He'd be on the board. You have a bunch of people on the board that like sort of oversee the museum and make it work. You have to do that too. Legacy, Walk Among Us, and Earth AD periods each need their own room. Rick Rubin is going to have to sponsor this thing. Well, we know that Glenn wouldn't do it, but Jerry would. think Jerry would. Jerry would get behind this idea. I really think that. I really do. But you would need so much cooperation from the town. Like so much. That town would absolutely have to be on the same page, and maybe they're not. I don't know exactly. You know who really to ask this would be, I mean, you could ask Dagger Love, who lives in Lodi, or Robbie Bloodshed lives, near Lodi. Like he knows. Like these guys know what Lodi as like a whole. Like we know that there are businesses within Lodi. Like look at Lodi Pizza. We know that there are businesses within Lodi that love and embrace the Misfits, but does Lodi as a whole really sort of understand the Misfits and embrace the Misfits and appreciate the Misfits the way us diehard nerds do? So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Jerry would be into it because he'd be like, for the kids, let's do it for the kids. I mean, you have to think about it, man. You could have they'd have new t-shirts, new merch. And that's the thing. If the merch was unique to just the museum, you'd have to keep traveling to go back to pick up new merch because, of course, everybody has their Misfit collections. I got to tell you, I saw in the 7th house, they have some really cool looking color variants of the Danzig 777, and I might have to pull the trigger on I don't know, one of them looked absolutely irresistible to me, so I don't know. Oh, Rue brings up a good point. When are you gonna do the Franche interview? You did not miss it, Rue. You did not miss it. In fact, I texted Franche the other week, and the ball is currently in his court. So, maybe I will ping him again and see what's up. I'll let him know. You know what I'll say? I'll say, hey, Franche, people are clamoring. When are you coming back? When are you coming back? I will tell you, we do have a surprise planned, and I think it'll be a good one that everybody is going to appreciate. Oh, Dr. Locus, Carlton Locus is saying no, he doesn't want a Fiend Museum. Well, it's okay. It's not for you. It's for us. It's for the kids. For the kids. I thank you for bringing that up about Franche Como. Let's see what's up. Let's see what's up with Frank and get that rolling again. All I know is my system is beautiful right now, like beautiful, right? The picture is good, the audio is good. There's no everything is smooth as silk. Am I going to the Misfits gig? As of right now, I am going to the Misfits gig. I'm going to the Misfits gig, and we're probably going to all have to hang out at the Misfits gig, right? That's probably going to have to happen. So tentatively, as of now, I am absolutely going to the Misfits gig. As of right now, nothing has changed. If something changes, I will communicate that. But right now, I have horror business to attend to. So, yes. Kind of wish it was happening in New York, but hey, you take what you can get, right? You take what you can get. What else? Is there anything else to peel? Dagger is going as well. Evie, if Evie can get a babysitter, you'd like to go. I mean, I have a feeling it's a hometown show. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to be there. It's going to be a big show. It's going to be a big show. And, oh my God. And friggin' Morning Noise is playing, man. Friggin' Morning Noise. Like, how crazy is that? Like, what an excellent, I got to tell you, I was really to the moon when I heard that Morning Noise was playing because, it's fun to have all these bigger bands, but it's just friggin' nice to acknowledge, the heritage. You're doing a New Jersey show, have a friggin' New Jersey band. And, I didn't do this the other day. Someone brought it up during the Stellar Corpses show that we did recently. it was inappropriate to discuss on that show. So I did not say nothing during that show, but I'm going to say it here. I am so excited and happy for Robbie Bloodshed. I really am. You know, you guys have met Robbie some of you met him in real life. Some of you have seen him on this show. It's like, it's just really unbelievable. Cause I got to tell you, when I met Robbie, and you know, I hope he doesn't take this the wrong way. I keep bringing this up. It just makes it that much more incredible though. But when I met Robbie, you know, he was like, I don't know, he was like 11 or 12, and he was like really into being a musician. He was really, you know, he was just starting out, and he was playing music live. He was opening for, you know, all these horror punk bands. And it's amazing to like watch him like grow and evolve and change. And like, you know, he's reached this amazing goal, like opening for his favorite band, and a band that, you know, both on here and like privately, like just over the phone, just talking about a band that we love so much. It's just such a win. It's a win for all of us, and it's a win for him. And I'm ecstatic. I really am. I think it's amazing. I think it's really, really amazing. And I'm looking forward to it. I really genuinely am. So as of right now, I am going. Hopefully nothing changes that in the near future. But yes, that is the modus operandi. So, and you want to know something? Even if I wasn't going, like, I feel like I'd still have to like show up somehow in like the parking lot and just hang out, you know, just because I feel like there's got to be some kind of hangout. There's got to be some sort of like session, right? Maybe like maybe do like a live show in the parking lot. That would be kind of funny. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Oh, John of Doom is saying we're going to meet up before the show. I mean, we kind of have to, right? Hell yeah. Hopefully I'll see you there. At least morning noise gig in May. Oh, that's right. Yeah. There is another morning noise gig in May for Steve's birthday. Ema is going to the show. That's great. Can you get us gummy bear access? I don't know what that means. Milton, thank you so much for the pair character cheerfully blowing up a party horn support. I really appreciate the support for the channel. Thank you. I think it's in June. Rue, his birthday is in June, I think. Robbie is so good as their singer. Much love for Robbie. Yeah, it's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be a good friggin' time. It's gonna be a really, really good time. It will. So I don't know. Is there anything else that needs to be covered in this moment? It's 11:30 and I have to wake up super early in the morning. I know I always say that, but it's only because it's true, you know? It's like awesome for Robbie. It's like skating with your favorite professional skaters. It's just like, dude, it's just a wonderful thing. It's great. It really is. And you know who else I also want to shout out Robbie Bloodshed's dad, Bob, who like, you know, he like showed his son all this stuff, you know, just because he like, you know, he came from the town, he's a fan, and, you know, introduced his son to this stuff. And like now his son is opening for the Misfits. I mean, his heart must be swelling with such pride. Like, I mean, God, like how exciting that must be for him. So I'm really happy for Bob as much as I am happy for Rob, because I just know I gotta imagine how over the moon he must be over that. Truly. I don't think I got anything else to say. Like I said, keep your eyes peeled for everything that's coming, as always. And please join us for my shadow. Join us for my shadow. I know it's not Misfits. I know, listen, nobody cares about what I do here when it's not Misfits stuff in general. But like, you know, some of you do. Some of you like the other stuff. Check it out. You might like it. I'm not saying do it. I'm not asking you to do it. I'm just saying, like, you know, if you see it come on when you're like on YouTube, if you happen to see it, Like, pop your head in, say hello, be like, oh, what's this all about? Just see what it's about. Why? I mean, no reason. It's not like this is not the be all end all. That's not the final goal. The final goal is to shoot another feature length film, but it's just a fun thing. It's a fun thing that does not involve the things that we do for fun always around here. So I don't know. Be safe. Like Rue Morg always says, I always say peace and hair grease, but Rue always says be, and he doesn't say be good and be safe. He says be cool and be safe, I think. And cough, cool, whichever. Like Foodie Confidential. Oh my God. Did I ever see the second episode of Dave Vanian's Dark Screen? The second episode was pretty good. I don't know what that is. What is that? Thank you. I'm glad you would check it out. I'm telling you, it's going to be a good time. If you like weird, obscure, quirky, like, midnight movie fare, then you will appreciate it. You will appreciate what My Shadow is. It takes place in the same world as David Lynch's Eraserhead. Okay. So it's on YouTube. Okay. I'll check that out. The Dave Vanian thing. All right. I'm going to take us out with the Patreon. We'll be back. I might so I'm seeing Evil Dead tomorrow night. I'm going to do a review on Evil Dead. So anybody who's an Evil Dead fan will be back for that. And we'll probably have a couple other little things this week. We'll see. We shall see. Going to do the Patreon. Goodbye.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jeff. So I've decided to make a Patreon. What is Patreon? I don't know how to define a Patreon. Let me look it up. Patreon is a membership platform that makes it very easy for creators to get paid for the things that they're already creating. I want to do it full time. I want this to be my full-time job. In my efforts to make that happen, I've set up this platform. Is it going to work? Is it going to be successful? I don't know, but I would rather try and crash and burn than not try at all. The goal is to create enough passive revenue so that I can continue to do this full-time, uninterrupted. Why? Because I love to do this. I love creating content. I love making videos. I love shooting films. I love doing podcasts. In case you couldn't tell, I love to talk and I never shut the fuck up. So right now I've kept the Patreon incredibly simple. There's 2 tiers, and that may change in the future. The Murdergram is a simple way to extend support for all of the hours and hours of free content on the channel for nothing more than $1. 38 cents goes to Patreon. What's $1.38, eh? It's less than a cup of coffee, but it's a great way that you can show support for very little effort. When you divide that $1.38 by the hours and hours and hours of time spent listening to this endless drivel of content, the dollar cost average works out. Next up is the YouTube Casualty for $6.66. The YouTube Casualty is loaded to the gills. Enjoy the archive ad-free, as well as ad-free early access to special docu-style podcast videos, music reaction commentaries, and the like, a month before they drop on YouTube, loaded with ads, I might add. You're also going to get exclusive content and behind-the-scenes content that is not available on YouTube or anywhere else. So you get to peek behind the veil. And believe me, there's a couple of choice pieces. Most of all, more than anything, whether you join the Patreon or not, I just want to thank each and every one of you that comes to the channel, that watches all the shows, that leaves comments, that participates, that subscribes. That's really the most important thing. This is just trying to find a way to earn a living as an artist. And with that, thank you for my TED Talk. Join the Patreon, because we need you! 66 cents.